how fruitless it is for them in that day and in that time. All right, we're going to continue with the Hopi prophecy, but I do have the word, again, it's thrown into this. So, when the Purifier comes, we will see him first as a small red star, which will come very close and sit in our heavens, watching us. Remember I told you this planet and these two things, they're on the inside of our orbit already. So it seems like they are not moving, and they're sitting there between us and the sun. And it won't be till we come to the part of our rotation in our orbit where we are led into trajectory with them that they begin to move again. It's almost like the whole procession thing. We will come, it says, watching us to see how well we have remembered the sacred teachings. This Purifier will show us many miraculous signs in our heavens, and in this way we will know Creator is not a dream. I can guarantee you the Creator is not a dream. He is very much a reality. In fact, He is the truth. Even those who do not feel their connection to Spirit will see the face of Creator across the sky. Things unseen will be felt very strongly. Again, the veils are collapsing, the barrier between the world of the Spirit and the world of the visible and the invisible, the world of the Spirit and the physical, it's all coming down. It's all coming down. We're going to be witness to all kind of weirdness, as I said, for several years now. Many things will begin to occur that will not make sense, for reality will be shifting back in and out of the dream state. There will be many doorways to the lower world that will open at this time. Things long forgotten will come back to remind us of our past creations. All living things will want to be present for this day when time ends, and we enter the forever cycle of the fifth world. Now, I'm going to be getting into the angels being released from the river Euphrates and the Locust Army, because is that not what this particular passage is talking about? Remember the Locust Army? Okay. There will be many doorways to the lower world that will open at this time. Things long forgotten will come back to remind us of our past creations. Can you say Joel chapter 2 as well? All right, I'm going to get into this so that you can understand, because especially for those that are new listeners, if you have not heard our shows before, I know this is a lot of information, but if you can bear with us and suspend your belief systems for just a short period of time and empty yourself so that you can receive some other knowledge and gain a little bit of perspective, a different perspective, if you can open yourselves up to the possibility of those things that I'm bringing forth here, I think it can have a profound effect on you and what you may consider as reality. We will receive many warnings allowing us to change our ways from below the earth as well as above. Then, one morning, in a moment, we will awaken to the red dawn. Remember I told you about the dust, the red dust? We will awaken to the red dawn. The sky will be the color of blood, and many things will then begin to happen that will right now we are not sure of their exact nature. For much of reality will not be as it is now. Okay. You know, so many of us think that what is real is going to school, getting our education, getting our training, our skill for a particular job so that we can then earn a living, pay for our health care, take care and raise kids and raise a family, buy a house with 2 cars and a 2-car garage, get a cat and a dog, a fenced-in yard, the whole American dream. We think that that is reality. But what people are starting to realize is that that American dream and the cost to not only ourselves but to our nation, with the debt and the way that we consume and overspend, that dream is the true illusion. That is not reality, people. And so many are now waking up to that. And it's about time, really. So I'm going to tie this into the word again. Remember, it says that, the one morning you will wake up to the red dawn, the color of blood. I'm going to explain that from the word and also from these ancient texts, okay? All right. Now we're going into Revelation again. The first angel sounded, and there followed hell and fire mingled with blood. Okay, mingled with blood. And they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of the waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many died of the waters because they were made bitter. Now remember, this makes the water poisonous, okay? And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. Okay, so remember, this particular whatever it is, these asteroids, comets, whatever it is that's striking the earth, whatever it is, whether it's kicking up a cloud of dust and that blocks out the sun and makes the moon blood red, or whether it's this large planet in between the earth and the sun, and that's why it gets blocked out in its blood. I don't know exactly, but all these things are indeed tied to such a cosmic and celestial phenomenon. So continuing with Revelation, because this is all connected, people. And I beheld, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. Why? Why does the angel sound woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth? Because of the Locust Army that is coming to invade, that is coming to destroy 1/3 of those that are upon the planet. Yeah. I know that's a heavy thought, especially for those that are new to all of this and that have not heard of any kind of association with Elenin and Niburu as possibly being a prison planet holding and retaining the angels of the abyss, the fallen ones themselves, in Locust Army form. Could that be a possibility? Let's touch upon this red dust for a second. Now, this story is from the Kolbrin, and this is an association with this particular dust and the appearance of these two Skymonsters. Whether Elenin, Niburu, I make no claim. All I'm saying is that it seems eerily similar. Dust and smoke clouds darkened the sky and colored the waters upon which they fell with a bloody hue. Plague was throughout the land, the river was bloody, and blood was everywhere. The water was vile, and men's stomachs strength from drinking. Those who did drink from the river vomited it up, for it was polluted. The dust tore wounds in the skin of man and beast. In the glow of the destroyer, the earth was filled with redness. Vermin bred and filled the air and face of the earth with loathsomeness. Wild beasts afflicted with torments under the lashing sand and ashes came out of their lairs in the wastelands and cave places and stalked the abodes of men. All the tame beasts whimpered, and the land was filled with the cries of sheep and the moans of cattle. Trees throughout the land were destroyed, and no herb or fruit was to be found. The face of the land was battered and devastated by a hail of stones which smashed down all that stood in the path of the torrent. They swept down in hot showers, and strange flowing fire ran along the ground in their wake. The fish of the river died in the polluted waters. Worms, insects, and reptiles sprang up from the earth in huge numbers. Great gusts of wind brought swarms of locusts which covered the sky. As the destroyer flung itself through the heavens, it blew great gusts of cinders across the face of the land. The gloom of a long night spread, a dark mantle of blackness which extinguished every ray of light. None knew when it was day and when it was night, for the sun cast no shadow. The darkness was not the clean blackness of night, but a thick darkness in which the breath of men was stopped in their nostrils and in their throats. Men gasped in a hot cloud of vapor which enveloped all the land and snuffed out all lamps and fires. Men were bemused and lay moaning in their beds. None spoke to another or took food, for they were overwhelmed with despair. Ships were sucked away from their moorings and destroyed in great whirlpools. It was a time of unfolding. The earth turned over as clay spun upon a potter's wheel. The whole land was filled with uproar from the thunder of the destroyer overhead and the cry of its people. All right. This is the final passage from the Hopi prophecy. And then we're going to continue on with Revelation because I want to explain this. And I know I'm running out of time. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, some from the past and some that we have never seen. Actually, this is not the final passage of the Hopi prophecy, but this is very relevant for where we're going next. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, some from the past and some that have never been seen. The nature of mankind will appear strange in these times. We walk between worlds, and we will house many spirits, even within our own bodies. After a time, we will again walk with our brothers from the stars and rebuild this earth, but not until the Purifier has left his mark upon the universe. All right, remember this sentence when I go into this scripture. There will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, some from the past and some that we have never seen. And the nature of mankind will seem strange in these times as we walk between worlds. And this is important too. We will house many spirits even within our own bodies. Okay? Now, going to Revelation 9. Now, remember also what it said in the previous Hopi passage as well, where it talks about these strange creatures and beings from our past being released again. Okay? Revelation 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from the heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. Because these beings, this Locust Army, this alien invasion, they're coming to decimate those not written into the book of life, that do not have the seal of God in their foreheads. Remember that, okay? And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. The shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. They had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. And their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. And we know this as the leader of the fallen angels. He's going to be loosed to control and to be king over this locust alien invading army. Now, this is why it says here, 1 woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loose which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. Yes, people, these 4 angels, along with Apollyon and Abaddon, with the Locust Army, are going to slaughter 1/3 of those men that are yet on the planet. Very, very heavy thought. Okay? And the 4 angels, just again, read the sentence. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Yes, the creatures that they are riding can breathe fire. Okay? By these 3 was the 3rd part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. So 1/3 part of the 3rd that they kill are killed by the fire of their mouth. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Okay? The rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented, not of the work of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold, and silver and brass and stone, and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. You notice how these people are connected to the idolaters. Who are the idolaters? They're the ones that worship the fallen angels as the many pantheon of gods from all the various cultures of the world. Unless you worship the Creator, the Father of us all, and the Son, you are an idolater. And this will be your sentence. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their theft. Now, just so you don't think that this Locust Army is some kind of military equipment or a helicopter or some kind of metaphor or symbolism for something, I'm going to go to Joel chapter 2, because this clarifies all of what I just read to you about the Locust Army. Because Joel chapter 2 verifies this army as being a supernatural army, an army that is not human, not man. Okay? Joel chapter 2 says this, and I know I'm running out of time, so. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh and at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Can you say that this is speaking about the fallen angels and the giants and the hybrids that they created? Because that's what it's talking about. A great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.